again. Today I'm talking about a new film called Pleasure, which is which you can see in movie just now if you're in Britain. It's going to get like physical media releases pretty soon in different countries. There's already one or two out there, but because it's a Swedish film, there are scenes you need subtitles for. Most of it's in English, but still some scenes you need subtitles for that are Swedish. But it is about this young woman who goes to America to get into the porn industry. And it's about her experience in the porn industry. And it's about the structure of porn and the different stratas of it. So it is a kind of look about is a kind of sarcastic take on the succeed and go to America and succeed. And this one, it's about the porn industry. It's like it's very different. It's like it's an industry that do you really want to succeed in? Like, what's the advantage in this? And what you can get from this film is these are damaged people, and this is, and you're essentially like lowering yourself to appeal to the most basic of male desires, and it's like, why are you doing this? This is just gross. Well, that's my interpretation. It is a very good film, but it is a film that always makes you question, why are you doing this? Couldn't you just find another profession that where your drive could actually be much more productive than this? This just feels like it's cause it just shows you how hard it is, how you have to be perfect, and how it's a job. It's not really an industry that cares that much about you. It's a job like any other industry, and that's one of the good things of the film. But it is. I mean, I've described it to my friends as the Ken Loach version of Showgirls. In the sense that Showgirls was also that thing, but it was set in Vegas, where you have to go in this industry that's pretty horrible, and you have to the rise of someone who ultimately realizes it's a horrible industry to be in, and how you betray your own friend and betray everybody who's close to you to succeed. It doesn't have the campy elements of Showgirls. And that's kind of annoying because Showgirls is more fun than this film. This film is not a film you're going to keep watching again and again. It's about a grimy industry filled with people you probably wouldn't want to know. You know, and it is one of those things. It's like one of the good things about the film is that even though I've got all these comments just from my perspective on that industry, is like, do you really want to be in this? It's really well observed by the director, Ninja something, I can't remember her surname, and it's about the advantage of it is it's from a female perspective looking into this industry. There's lots of details a male director wouldn't know. It's basically showing you her perspective on it all and how throwaway some things you go about, and it's just throwaway. It's just like, clean your face off, it'll be fine. And all the grooming stuff that a male director would not think of being that important. It's you get a lot about that and the different interaction between her and other girls who are in the industry, and how there's a pecking order, and how there's certain people who are, even though it's an absurd industry, they still have their tribal pecking orders of, I'm important, you're not, you're just a slut. And it's like, you're all sluts, come on. But the absurdity of it all is played straight, but you know it's there. You know the absurdity is there. And they just play it like this is what happens. It's just the way it happens. It's stupid, but this is the way people behave. They will find the word pecking order, and even on the most base industry, they will find a pecking order so they feel they're better than somebody else. And they'll make someone else feel bad about themselves to make them feel a bit better, because the rest of the world tell them they're scum. And there's this sense of the absurdity of it all. And you've also got the superstar ones, porn stars, who are all dolled up, and they're very submissive to what they're told to do by the major producers, who have them in photo shoots the whole way through and are saying do this, do that. And even them, they have moments when they're a bit divish and, they have to be dealt with. And there's a sense of just general progression within the grime of like the details of what is important for women in this industry and what's important dealing with the guys in the industry. What you're not told by certain people, what you are told by other people, and how the further you're up, you may have to betray your friends for an absurd industry. And that's the thing is, it may sound judgmental, but it is like, why are you in this industry? That's the thing. The film never managed to. I don't think it's even trying to do this. Is like managed to kind of over your incredulity of why would someone want to be in this industry. It doesn't even try. So this is the industry. This is it. This is the story we're telling within this industry, and you just have to accept this stuff goes on. Which is what's the strength of the film is. Like, this is just this industry. It treats it like an industry. It's like, we do this in this shoot. Yeah, okay. And you show them doing it. So the sex scenes basically become just mechanical. It's like, do this shot. And it just shows you how manipulated mass sexuality is in the world. And how easy it is to manipulate. And how easy little looks can be that will tell you one thing, but they really mean something else because the person doesn't really mean them. So you're trying to do satisfy desires of strangers that just for money, but it doesn't really mean anything ultimately, because these people watching have real problems, and the people making it have real problems. It is this dysfunctional industry that's feeding on both ends. You've got the fans who are feeding in one way, and the actors or the performers feeding another way, and they're both dysfunctional. And then we're both in this little tribe of people who are really into this thing that's probably not very healthy for you in the long term, or even the short term. But it is part of human nature. Human nature has always gone to this, and always will go to this. I mean, you've got the prudish to say, oh, how disgusting it is, and all the rest of it. It's like, it's human nature. It's going to keep on happening. People view this as a way to make money. People view this as a way to exploit people to make money, and exploit a situation for their own gain. It's just human nature. It's just, you can ban it, but you're going to stop it. It's always going to happen. So here you have a situation where this stuff's no longer banned. It's out there in the open. You can have conventions for porn. And I guess that seems absurd. Why would you want to go to a porn convention? To me, that's like, I wouldn't want to go to any convention, but porn conventions, like, really, why would you want to do there? And people, these fat guys taking pictures of these girls who are gorgeous, and it's like, it's just a weird dynamic. But because the director knows it is, but doesn't comment on it, just shows you what's going on, it's always interesting. But it is still a melodramatic plot, of she makes friends with someone, she ends up falling out with this person because she betrays them on the way up to the top. It pretty much is the conventional rise to the top narrative, but it's done in a much more realistic way. It's not trying to make this person out to look like she's perfect. It's just like, this is what you do. This is just life in this industry, and how you survive in this industry, and how you keep going in this industry. That's just the way life is. And that's kind of the thing of, she starts out much more punkish, but she's still basically paid for sex, and she's still ambitious to be paid for sex. And she becomes much more conventional the higher up she goes. And the more distant she becomes from her old friends, because she's now at the top level and they'll never be there. So you get that sense of dislocation. And everything's done well, it's just that you've seen it all before, but never done this way. But the narrative is not going to drag you along. There's no narrative surprises here. It's just the details that are the thing that really make it work, is the idea of what's going on, what this industry actually is, what's the mechanism of this industry, who takes these little things through the industry, how do people survive in this industry at different levels. It's just like a guide to what's going on here. And some people said, it's looking down the porn industry. It's like, how do you look down this industry? Really, it's obviously manipulative, and there's obviously a lot of dodgy stuff going on in this industry. I mean, come on. It's like, they're trying to. There's a lot of kind of things going on there where it's like trying to say, "Oh, we're all just a big family. Ultimately, we're all in it together," and it's like it's an industry of exploitation. You're just deluding yourself. Give me a break. So that's pleasure, and pleasure's interesting to watch. It's just you might not. There's a good chance you won't like it, and there's a good chance you'll be very bored with it. But it does serve as a very good guide to this kind of murky industry that's, you know, not for many people. So I'm glad I saw the film, but it's not one I'll probably jump back into watching very often because ultimately it's about people I don't particularly like doing something I think, really, you don't have any other ambitions than this? So that's probably judgmental, but that's just my opinion on it. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and the film is worth seeing. But that's me for now.